Shalom Rastafari. Assalamu alaikum. Peace to the kings and the queens of the earth. How's everybody doing on this Wednesday, this hump day? Again, just sending good vibes and protection to the real. And for those listening, just again, supportive. And thank you very much for your DMs and your love you've shown and your responses. Positive or negative, I appreciate it either way. Today, we're going to go into something that I just will continue to talk about, continue to bring awareness to, because that is the role and that is the code that our ancestors have given us. And today, we're going to talk again about the Tulsa Massacre, Black Wall Street Massacre. This is a situation where people need to understand that it is a serious situation that never was, there was nothing ever really done about it, right? Properly. There was no real reparations. There was no real, people didn't want to address it. It's the same thing that happens to pretty much almost every Black tragedy in the history. They try to hide it because they know this is the mirror that exposes the ugly racism that is going through the form of white supremacy. So rest in power to a soldier, a U.S. Army vet, Hughes Van Ellis, who died today. He was 102, but he was one of the residents that was there during the Tulsa massacre that killed hundreds of residents in Tulsa. And again, he was 102, so he was one of the ones that survived when the white mob pretty much just took over. For those who never really understood the Black Wall Street situation, again, I have no problem giving you a quick little synopsis. It's Actually, Wall Street was a point. Tulsa became, a thriving city. But again, this is the 1920s, 1910, 1920s. This is when racism is rampant, especially in the South. The KKK is kicking off. And before the KKK, though, there were tons of other, militias and organizations that straight up just lynched Black people at will. So in Tulsa and Greenwood, there was a beautiful area. Again, Tulsa was about 100,000 people, but the 10,000 African Americans were in their own neighborhood called Greenwood. And again, because of the segregation, they had their own. We had 2 newspapers, doctors, lawyers, libraries, grocery stores. Everything we needed over there. It was a great area. It was vibrant, bars and everything. There was violence and there was a lot of vigilante stuff going on, but it wasn't even in our neighborhood. It's kind of ironic, right? So then the white mob, they called it, which was what they say it is, was very aggressive. And it took basically this one Black worker who was working on the elevator. There was an incident in there that we will never know the truth of, but we know it was complete bullshit because even the racist court at the end of all this exonerated this man. So I guess in the elevator, there was something where he was working the elevator and this white lady came in there. She screamed. I think they said he might have stepped on her foot accidentally or something like that, something minor. But anyway, her screaming, it ended up giving him a rape charge the next day. So there was this huge thing where, the white mob's demanding, going to the courthouse and demanding that the courts hand him over because they obviously want to lynch him. And, the courts didn't. 25 armed Black men who were from the military came, offered their services. And the judge, for protection, the judge said no. They came back because they heard that there were more people coming to release this guy about 3 hours later. So 30 to 35 Black men showed up this time more. And again, the judge refused. So as they're walking out, one of the people from the white mob tries to disarm one of the Black people trying to protect, the situation and try to protect this guy from being falsely charged and hung. They tried to disarm him. Shots were fired, and then the riot started. And it was a 2 to 3 day, just literally massacre of white mobs coming in, doing drive-bys. The guy on a plane actually started bombing the town. They lynched as many people as they possibly could. They executed doctors. They just took them out in the middle of the street, killed them. Machine guns, burned everything. Even when the Blacks, when we fought back, we resisted enough. But at the turn, just, sometimes we were just outgunned. But we did resist. And By the time the National Guard got in there, the entire area was mowed down. It's kind of ironic. And I'll get to some specific points about how people look at black people, especially when it comes to like us protesting. So I'm gonna get to that in 2 seconds. But that's basically the story. An entire area that was, you want to segregate black people, okay, that's fine. We get our own, and we do our own. Our own was actually better than yours. It was. This is proven facts. And then they, in turn, look at one incident and decide to blow it up. That was a jealousy and a meal that was cooked, that was waiting to be, dished out. That was something that was just brewing. It sounds like the jealousy of these people who never loved us anyway were looking for an excuse to kill us. Even the paper that same day was the night tonight a Negro will be lynched or something like that. They were putting in the paper, the judge, like all these things from law down. This is why they don't want the truth out there, because when we get attacked, when black people are attacked, especially when it comes to these situations, it ain't just a bunch of white mob people. That's what y'all people continue. Some of you people continue to think about. This is systematic. So you have a white mob who's able to do all this shit, right? Like they are given a green light by law, literally, by the people in that same town. And they turned a blind eye to everything. They didn't come in and stop not a damn thing. And that's usually what would happen, especially back then, because there was no documentation. They didn't care about us. They never really liked us in the first place, even though we built everything they ever had. And I think they just never understood that. I think that some of these racist people just did not want the truth to be there. You treated us like shit. We're still here surviving. Clearly, we're stronger than you because you couldn't handle this shit for more than 3 years. So it's not saying we're superior, but it just shows you who's stronger as far as like nothing. This never happened to your people. And we in turn not only just, looked at you and was like, leave me the fuck alone and make my own, but we never even attacked y'all like that. So when it comes down to it, I will always talk about the Tulsa Massacre because it wasn't, there's people who still describe it and they have museums and they have little things like that. But the reparations and this story should be, I'm talking about put it in high school. You never heard about it in high school. You never heard about it really even in college. You never heard about it at all. And then when you heard about it, you're like, why is this not promoted? And this is exactly why people like, certain governors and stuff who try to fight, this is why they fight it, because it makes people feel a certain way. It makes people feel bad. It makes me feel bad when I hear about it. Why would it make you feel bad? This is the history of what's going on. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person. At the end of the day, anybody who hears this, who knows anybody of color or loves them or says they love them, or they know they're going to feel sympathy. They're going to maybe do some research. They're going to be like, yeah, that's messed up. What's wrong with people? And they're going to understand that they're not going to be that example. They're going to set themselves apart. They're going to, whoever's around them, you know what I mean? They're not going to have specific people around them anymore who are filled with racism. At the end of the day, I'm telling you that. These people, at the end of the day, you can talk all that shit you want to. There's some women or some men who are with women or with men who are, I'm talking about married, who are racist as shit. And they're not as racist, right? Or they're not racist at all. But that's my husband. There's people who will leave their husbands for that shit or leave their wives for that shit. I've seen them both sides. Like, fuck out of here. That's not me. Or check them in the middle of everybody, embarrass the fuck out of them, and then they got to go home and they just you know what I mean? But at the same time, that's what that is. So when you hear people like this who passed away, you want to bang their names. You want to say their names 10, 15,000 times. You know what I mean? Hughes Van Ellis, like rest in power, but rest in power to all the people who died in the Tulsa Massacre. And it's a shame that people tried to hide this history. And there's numerous, first of all, this is what I want to get into. There was numerous incidences of violence when white mobs attacked black people and burned cities. Now, y'all want to fast forward. Y'all want to talk about, well, why you guys always riot? Why? It seems like we learned it from you because at the end of the day, we weren't even attacking y'all. There was one point, there was like 68 incidences as in one state of white mobs burning down black people's houses, burning down black organizations. I remember at one point, we couldn't have a church. We had church bombings every day. Look at how many, if you really think you're listening to this, one person, Google right now, all right, how many black churches were bombed during the civil rights movement? And you want to talk about terrorism and who's the terrorists? What are you doing to your own people? What are you doing to people who built your shit too? You act like we came over here voluntarily and we just posted up and we're benefiting from you. No, you bought us over here. Some of us were already over here, but you bought us over here. You enslaved us for 426 years. And I ain't talking about just picking cotton. We built the entire country, railroads, roofing. Some of us breastfed your own children because you couldn't secrete your own milk. Understand that. Some of us took care of your house. Some of us cooked for you, cleaned for you, did the books for you. Because you didn't teach us how to read. So the ones that knew how to read, you had to put them in an employable situation to keep them whatever. We built it from the ground up. That's why I love the American flag. 'Cause I see my people. I don't see whoever the fuck. I see, people who built it. And you can't say nothing. This is why these people are yelling and screaming. These racist people are screaming about, specific ideology, and they want specific people in power to kind of like show that this is still America, because everyone thinks that America is it used to be and da 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 da. And anybody who says let's make America great again, when they fucking go back into the times, watch when they go. They go to a time when white supremacy was at its heightened and black and anybody else of color was at the bottom of the damn barrel trying to fight just to get to the fucking table. And that's when it was great for them. Meanwhile, my people are getting bombed by the same people. My people are getting burned down for nothing. My people, we have our own stuff. You still come over here and mob with us. It's funny because we don't do that to you. We don't get mad when a cop shoots an innocent black man and he gets off on it, goes back to work, goes transfers, still gets paid. He got paid the entire time, never missed a check. Meanwhile, the people who are paying for funerals and all that stuff, we don't in turn then go to your neighborhood and burn it down. Just understand who you're dealing with in our history. From the beginning of time, even when you came to Africa on the coasts just to get your resources because you had nothing, we allowed you to come in. It wasn't segregation. You were sitting there in the same coast, which in turn was our demise because when all went down, you were already aligned up there. And now that's why I saw people in South Africa talking about white people specifically in South Africa. I've always been here. No, you weren't. You migrated down here clearly from Europe, and you're just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about? It'd be like me in Antarctica. I was always been here. Wait, okay, take it easy. All right, this is like Viking country and stuff. Like, relax. So, it's just one of those rants that I want to go into and give love to Tulsa Massacre. And I'm going to address a lot of stuff. I'm going to go and address this war. I'm going to address some stuff. I'm going to continue to. But I like to also take my time and kind of watch that lion eye and get the facts down for myself. I don't want to talk ignorant. I want to talk like, okay, I know what the fuck I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? So sorry for cussing, get a little edgy on this one. I love y'all. Hope you had a great, great, great day. Continue to grind. And if you're listening, you a hater, I thank you for listening because you just wasted 13 minutes of your time. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you got fed. But whatever. I appreciate y'all. One love.